Hello guys, welcome to the new year. I'm starting something a little bit different than what I did last year. It's kind of a reading vlog, but it's focused solely on one book, and it's kind of like my reading and reviewing experience for that one particular book. And I want to do it for books that I'm, particularly excited about. So it's not a sort of formal sit down and review type of thing. It's more of a, you get to see my entire reading experience and what I thought throughout the read and everything like that. So the first book of the year is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I read Signal to Noise by her last year and absolutely adored it, and so I wanted to continue her catalog this year, and this is her most. Hey, what's up, buddy? This is her most recent work. It is a sort of jazz age meets Mayan mythology meets Mexico City 1920s. And so far I'm really loving it. We have our main character, Cassiopeia, who kind of accidentally awakens a god of death who possesses her in some way, like a shard of his bone enters her body, and she is kind of like a source of life for him. So he sets off on a quest accompanied by her to find some missing body parts of his, but they have to do it quickly because the longer it takes, the more human he becomes, because the more of her life force he's taken. So she kind of is forced to go with him because if not, she's gonna die, but then also she needs him to be successful because otherwise she will also die. And the writing is gripping, just as it always was. It's incredibly readable as well. She's bringing Mexico to life and this time to life. We have a very complex, very interesting main character in Cassiopeia. She has a very difficult living situation with a grandpa who doesn't really like her, doesn't respect her, and an older cousin who likewise feels towards her the same way, and a mother who sort of feels powerless to help her because she's a widow, and so she's kind of dependent on the grandfather to take care of her and Cassiopeia, her daughter. So their sort of adventure has just begun, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, and sort of the mythology that she's going to be able to weave into the story, and I'm really excited. This is one that was one of my most anticipated releases of last year, so finally really excited to be getting around to it.
Seeing you at the gym. What? I basically live here. I'm a regular gym dandy. Besides, I gotta get into shape for all the Godfather I go to.
Hey guys, so I am almost done with Gods of Jade and Shadow, and it's just so good. I love the worlds that Silvia Moreno Garcia is able to create, even one that's based on reality. Like, she's talking about places that exist. There's just something magical about them and the way that she describes them. In this book, she's able to create such vivid visuals and talk about the colors, and she just brings these places to life, and then in addition adds this fantastical element and magical element to it that kind of propel it to another level. I just love it so much. These characters I have fallen in love with. I mean, Cassiopeia is just such an amazing, strong, and like, there's just so many sides to her that we're able to see just with her interactions with different people, and you get to see her strength, and you get to see her growth and her maturing, and I just love it so much. I love being able to see the human side of this god that she is essentially having to help. This is really just like one big quest story. It reminds me a little bit of like Hobbit-esque in its quest like nature. I mean, they obviously have these very specific places they have to go and specific things they have to find, and it just that sense of adventure is always present, which I really enjoy, and I'm having such a great time reading it. I love the culture that and the history that you're being able to experience and witness through the story. It's funny because this is almost like, it's like the opposite of what Harry, Ron, and Hermione do when they're trying to find the Deathly Hallows. Like, it's like, instead of trying to find them to destroy them, and essentially kill Voldemort, these characters are trying to find parts of this god so that he can become god again. And it's funny, so it's like this weird opposite thing, but you get that sort of same feeling of, okay, what are we gonna do next? And it's another adventure and another adventure. And I like the pacing, because you can tell time is passing, and you can it doesn't feel start and stop, even though it almost should, just because of what they're doing. Like, they're resting, and then they're doing this, and then shit breaks loose, and then they're resting, or like they're traveling or whatever. But it flows really well, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And really, I mean, I just can't wait to go through Silvia Moreno Garcia's entire catalog. She has 2 books coming out this year. I was fortunate enough to win a giveaway for one of them, which I will show you. It's like, I think it's like a mystery thriller, if I'm not mistaken, but it's called Untamed Shore, and it releases in February. And it says, sharks may be dangerous, but there are worse predators nearby, ready to devour a naive young woman who may just drown in a tangled web of deceit. Baja California, 1979. With nothing else to do in her sleepy town, Viridiana spends her days watching the dead sharks piled beside the seashore as the fishermen bring in their nets. Yet her head is filled with dreams of Hollywood films, of romance, of a future beyond the life where her own opinion is to marry and have children. Her only opinion. But when 3 wealthy American tourists arrive from the summer, Viridiana finds herself magnetized. She immediately becomes entwined in the glamorous foreigners' lives. They offer excitement and an escape from her humdrum future prospects. So there's a lot of themes that I'm seeing sort of repeated, at least so far in the 3 books, the 2 books that I've read, and then this one that I'm becoming familiar with. And it's this sense of a woman wanting to escape what she deems are her only options in life, or escape to something bigger. Like, they just want to aspire to something greater. You see that in Signal to Noise. Our main character wants to leave this small sleepy town and sort of do something better with her life, and she does. And then with Cassiopeia, she wants to escape this very oppressive, very toxic relationship that she has with her grandfather, who pretty much controls her entire life and her mother's life. And then here we have Viridiana, who obviously also wants to escape what she deems is a place that only has one option for her. And they're all historical, like they're all set in not in the present time, which is really interesting. Signal to Noise had dual perspective, and I don't remember what its release date was, but one of them was like 2000. One of the perspectives was 2003, so it's much more recent. But the other one was like in the 80s. So it's like you get different times in Mexico, and it's really cool to see. I love how tied she is to her culture and how she wants to just bring it to life even more in her books. I really appreciate that. So yep, really enjoying Gods of Jade and Shadow. I should hopefully finish it today or tomorrow and then tell you guys my final thoughts, but I don't think that they're going to change much from I'm really loving it. Hey guys, so I finished Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia a few days ago, and I just realized that I hadn't given you guys my final thoughts on them. on it. And yeah, I mean, I think the ending was absolutely perfect, actually. I think it fit the characters exactly like you kind of think it would or expect it to. I ended up really just loving all of these characters, and I love the way she just weaves the stories together and brings this magical element to them. She has, I think, firmly placed herself as one of my favorite Latinx authors. I'm really excited to see what else she comes up with. She, like I said, has 2 new novels coming out this year. And yeah, I mean, it was perfect. It was this great sort of quest adventure story, but that didn't feel too fast-paced or too lacking in depth. I feel like there was enough commentary and enough history and enough magic and enough character development there to make it something substantial and something really worth reading. So yeah, I mean, I really loved it. I am excited to, I do think it could have even been longer. Like, I would have been okay having it been more fleshed out and longer. But I'm glad that we're getting, you know, diverse fantasy, and that it is female written, and that it's a standalone, you know, so that if you don't want to make that sort of time commitment like a series requires, then you can just pick it up and hopefully you'll enjoy it. But yeah, I'm really glad that I read it. I ended up giving it about a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm glad that it was my first like official read of the year, and I loved it. It was great, and I can't wait to see what else she comes up with. So let me know if you guys have read it and what you thought about it. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you guys very much.